Look up at the night sky. The sheer vastness of it makes our modern achievements feel small now. Imagine a moment in human history when ambition soared so high. The result was a dream built in stone, a structure so perfect, its construction feels impossible even today. We are talking about Rome, a name that echoes through 20 centuries of history. But amongst all the monumental achievements of the most powerful empire to ever exist, one building stands alone as its eternal symbol of power, spectacle, and ingenuity. This is the Colosseum. Its true history begins not with the strength of its arches, but with a terrible inferno that laid the heart of Rome to ashes. The Great Fire and the Tyrant's grief. The political context: the year is 64 AD. The Great Fire of Rome rages for nearly a week. It consumes 10 of the city's 14 districts, reducing the ancient wooden core of the capital to rubble. The devastation was complete. As smoke still choked the air, whispers began to circle, and the suspicion fell directly upon the Emperor Nero. Was it a calculated act to clear space for his grandiose vision? The official story blamed the burgeoning and unpopular Christian sect, but the public knew better. In the wake of the disaster, Nero did indeed build a spectacular new private complex on the cleared land, the Domus Aurea, or Golden House. This wasn't just a palace. It was an extravagant personal estate covering an estimated 300 acres, a shocking percentage of the city. The Domus Aurea was a monument to narcissism, featuring artificial lakes, private woods, massive gilded ceilings, and even a colossal bronze statue of himself, the Colossus of Nero, standing over 100 feet tall. For the ordinary Roman citizen, who were living in misery and crowded tenements, this act was a public insult, a brazen display of imperial arrogance. Nero had used the tragedy of his people to carve out a personal paradise. But tyranny is often fragile. After Nero's death in 68 AD, the empire descended into a brief but brutal civil war known as the Year of the Four Emperors. The Roman people were tired of despotism and the lavish self-indulgence of the Julio-Claudian line. Vespasian and the Flavian promised the political response. The man who eventually emerged triumphant was Titus Flavius Vespasianus, or simply Vespasian, a tough-minded general. He came from a humble background and understood the importance of public opinion. He knew his dynasty, the Flavian Dynasty, had to prove itself different from the decadence of Nero. Vespasian needed a powerful, symbolic act to wipe Nero's memory clean and restore Rome's dignity by giving the land back to the people. His solution was a political stroke of genius and an engineering marvel. He decided to build the largest amphitheater the world had ever seen, right in the center of Rome, precisely where Nero's extravagant private lake had been. He would drain the water and fill the void with a monumental public venue. This new structure would be built for the people, accessible to all, replacing one man's luxury with the collective entertainment of tens of thousands of citizens. The message was clear and powerful. The emperor was generous, and Rome belonged to the Romans again. To understand the true political genius behind this structure, we must uncover the Colosseum, Rome's ultimate political tool against the memory of Nero. The impossible engineering. The how construction began around 72 AD. The initial challenge was monumental, draining the marshy land of Nero's private lake. Roman engineers constructed deep, complex foundations, almost 40 feet deep in some places, to stabilize the structure. What makes the Colosseum an eternal symbol is that it was built without modern machines, reinforced concrete, or digital plans. The sheer scale is staggering. It is 189 meters long and 156 meters wide, reaching a height of 48 meters, the equivalent of a 15-story building. To put that in perspective, the Colosseum was the tallest building in Rome for centuries. The primary building material was travertine marble, a dense limestone quarried miles outside the city in Tivoli. This required a massive logistical operation. Thousands of tons of stone, each block weighing several tons, had to be quarried, loaded onto ox-drawn carts, and transported along specially built roads into the city. In the construction pit, there were no motors or engines. The Romans relied entirely on ingenious human and animal-powered machines, wooden treadmills, complex pulley systems, and massive cranes. Hundreds of miles of iron clamps, estimated to be around 300 tons, were used to bind the travertine blocks together. Though much of this metal was later looted and melted down in the Middle Ages, the workforce involved was enormous, potentially tens of thousands of people, including skilled craftsmen, engineers, and many Jewish slaves brought back after the Roman victory in the First Jewish-Roman War. The building itself was a victory monument, and the labor that built it was the spoils of war, despite the primitive tools. The Flavian Amphitheater was completed in an astonishingly short time. The main structure was finished in just 8 years by Vespasian's son, Titus. The spectacle, water, sand, fire, and iron inside the arena. The Colosseum was an engineering masterpiece designed to manage massive crowds and provide varied spectacles. It featured 80 entrances and exits, allowing the massive crowds of up to 80,000 spectators to enter and exit in under 15 minutes. The crowd capacity and smooth flow of people were testament to an urban planning genius we still marvel at today. The seating was strictly tiered by social class, ensuring the emperor and senators had the best, closest views, while the poorest and women occupied the highest, furthest seats. During the summer heat, the whole arena could be covered by a massive awning, the velarium, operated by a special detachment of sailors from the Misenum naval base. This vast canvas shielded the crowd from the sun and was another display of imperial generosity and power. The most unbelievable feature was the hypogeum, a network of subterranean tunnels and chambers built beneath the arena floor. This intricate labyrinth was the backstage, housing gladiators, slaves, exotic animals, props, and elaborate stage machinery. The arena floor could be instantly transformed. Lions, bears, and bulls could suddenly appear through trapdoors, hoisted up by wooden elevators and ramps, providing a shocking element of surprise for the crowd and the combatants. This system truly brought to life the Roman concept of panem et circenses, bread and circuses. But the most spectacular and logistics-intensive event was the naumachia, or mock naval battles. Many ask, how did the Romans flood the Colosseum for naval battles? The answer lies in the complex network of subterranean water channels and gates, connected to the city's aqueducts and the nearby Tiber River. In a mere matter of hours, the arena could be filled to a shallow depth, enough for small, specially built warships to engage in dramatic, often deadly, mock battles. Complete with elaborate scenery and effects, these events showcased Rome's naval might and provided an unparalleled spectacle of destruction and combat. Events inside the arena were violent. Beyond the gladiatorial duels and mock huntsvinations, the Colosseum was a place of public executions, serving as a brutal reminder of Rome's absolute justice. Criminals, prisoners of war, and often Christians were executed in gruesome ways, sometimes thrown to starving beasts, or burned at the stake. These spectacles of sand, fire, and iron were meant to be terrifying, yet were the main draw for the Roman populace. The Colosseum's survival and enduring legacy. The Colosseum, initially known as the Flavian Amphitheater, continued to host spectacles for over 400 years, surviving political upheaval and the rise and fall of emperors. However, its life as an entertainment venue eventually came to an end. The last gladiatorial combat is recorded in 400 for AD. Over the next few centuries, a combination of political decline, changing public taste as Christianity became the state religion, and economic hardship led to its abandonment. The structure then began its long, painful decline. Earthquakes, particularly a severe one in the 14th century, brought down large sections of the outer walls. Its travertine stone and iron clamps became a ready-made quarry. The stone was systematically stripped and reused to build palaces, churches, and other monuments throughout Rome, including a large portion of St. Peter's Basilica. For centuries, it served varied roles as housing, workshops, a fortress, and even a Christian shrine due to the martyrdoms that occurred there. Despite all this destruction, the eastern half of the structure stands defiantly today. It is a miracle that such a complex, ancient structure, without the benefit of modern structural analysis or materials, has endured nearly 20 centuries of war, earthquakes, and deliberate destruction. It remains the most powerful symbol of the Roman Empire, a dream in stone that became eternal. It is this sheer tenacity that makes it worth visiting, to see how the world's greatest superpower expressed its ambition not just through conquest, but through architecture. The story of its creation, its spectacles, and its resilience is one that will continue to echo as long as there is a Rome. If this journey into the mighty history and incredible engineering of the Colosseum has captured your imagination, I would be honored if you would take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel, The Sleeping Historian, for more deep dives into the most extraordinary achievements of the ancient world. Thank you for watching.